Hey everybody, how's it going? My name is Chris and this is my shop partner Oots, and this is my terribly neglected deck. But in this video, I'm going to show you how to clean it and stain it and make your deck look awesome again. Let's get started.
And thank you Lowe's for sponsoring this video and making this project possible. I'll link all the tools and products that I use for this down in the description. So the first thing I'm going to do is clear everything off the deck, remove my metal rails, and fix any bad boards.
All right everyone, so off camera I replaced a bunch of deck boards. The previous owner did a really shoddy job of the front of the deck here. I had to jack it up, do a bunch of work I didn't want to do, but I had to do it right. And there was a rotting board in the back, so I replaced all those. Now we're ready to clean off this deck and the stains, and we're gonna try a couple different methods to give you guys a couple different options. So the first thing I'm gonna try in two different spots is this all-in-one wood prep by Valspar. This is for folks that don't have a power washer. We're gonna see how good of an option this does compared to a power washer. Now I just picked up this Craftsman power washer from Lowe's, and because I need it for a lot of other projects around the house, it's gonna be a really valuable tool to have. But I also wanted to use it for the deck, and so I bought this deck and fence cleaner. We're gonna try those and compare them side by side, see how well they stack up against each other, and if this is just gonna be a good enough option on its own for people that don't have a power washer. We'll try two sections over here, and then over here on the addition part, it's pretty bad, but it's not as bad, so we'll try a couple sections over here. That'll give a lot of different options for people to see compared to their deck what might work. So let's get started with cleaning this baby off.
I use a deck brush to scrub all the loose dirt off, and then because the deck was really hot and dry, I wetted it first before I applied the deck cleaner using a pressurized spray pump. The cleaner needs to sit for about 20 minutes, and it's bad to let it dry, so that's why I wetted it first. Then I used the deck brush again to scrub that cleaner into the wood. Then after about 20 minutes, I rinsed the cleaner away and revealed some really nice results. I did the same test over on the upper deck, which looks to be much older and in even worse shape. Now onto the power washer. I'm going to use the 30-degree tip to first lightly clean and wet my test areas. Then I'll switch to the black tip, which is designed to be used when running any chemicals or solutions through the power washer, and apply my deck cleaner using that. Once the deck cleaner has soaked for the recommended amount of time, I switch back to the 30-degree tip and spray it off. When first starting off, my technique with the power washer is not very good. I really shouldn't be stopping and starting in the middle of boards like this. You want to do a nice long consistent stroke and then sweep up at the end to prevent those harsh start and stop lines, similar to how you would when spray painting. Here's the section with the power washer and cleaner, and here's the section with just one treatment of the regular Valspar cleaner without the power washer. And again, on the really bad side of the deck, here is the power washer with cleaner, and then here it's just the Valspar cleaner by itself. Next, I wanted to try power washing with a more aggressive 15-degree tip, and again my technique is really bad here and I'm leaving lots of marks by going back and forth too much, but later on I figure out to use those longer strokes where I feather each side with a sweeping motion, and I got much better results. But when the deck was dried, I really didn't even see those marks I made with that original pour technique, so it wasn't that big of a deal.
All right, so what are my thoughts? Well, I gotta be honest, I think this Valspar did a really good job for as terribly grimy and neglected this area over here is. I think if I would have pre-soaked this a little bit longer, let water sit on it for an hour, 30 minutes to really loosen up all that hard stuff, I think it would have worked even better. I also think maybe doing a second round of this stuff would completely brighten this up. So I was super impressed with that stuff. The power washer obviously did a really good job. I tried a couple different tips. I tried the 30-degree tip and the 15-degree tip. 15 is much more powerful and basically takes it off without any chemical needed. So great options. I'm going to soak the deck. I think that really helps. I'm going to soak the deck, let it sit for 30 minutes, an hour, just keep adding water to it. It's sunny, so it's going to kind of dry in areas. And then I'm going to go over it with the power washer, and I think everything's going to come off really nice and quick. Wow, so I am extremely impressed at how well that power washer worked at cleaning off this deck. I had no idea it would work this well. I was planning on using a solid color deck stain because the deck was in such bad condition, but now I'm actually gonna go with a semi-transparent because there's a lot of that nice wood grain back. Now I need to go through and pull a bunch of nails and reset other nails. Whoever built this addition to the deck didn't use the proper deck nails, so a lot of them have come proud over the different seasons of thaws and freezes and things like that. So I'm going to set different nails, and if they're too proud or they won't stay down, I'll pull them and I'll add the correct nail and nail those deck boards down properly, and then we're going to get on to staining. Let's get going with that part.
Now, when I've built decks in the past, I've always used screws for screwing those deck boards down to the deck frame, but I thought it would look really bad if most of the fasteners were nails and then there was a bunch of random screws in there. So I just used some 16-penny ring shank nails to keep that consistency. I decided to go with this Valspar semi-transparent deck stain. I used a color called Rusticana, and I'm going to be using my Wagner sprayer to apply the stain. I got the sprayer when I remodeled my basement and had to paint a bunch of new walls, and I've also used it to apply finish to a timber framed mailbox that I built recently, and I don't know how I survived without this thing beforehand. It's absolutely awesome, well worth the money. I can tell you right now that I'll probably never hand paint or roll ever again. And once again, links to this and all the other tools and products that I use are down in the description. Because this is such an old, weathered, and super dry deck, I ended up using 3 gallons of stain because the boards were just really soaking up the stain like crazy. On a new deck, it probably would only take about 2 gallons to finish. And because of the amount of stain it soaked up, it really felt more like a solid color than a semi-transparent, which is fine because it looks great, but I also wanted to talk to you a little bit about the color choice that I went with. My deck is in a lot of sunlight, and so this darker color actually gets pretty hot in direct sunlight. So if I were to do this again, I probably would have chose a lighter color, but if you have a deck that's in a lot of shade, this darker color would be a great option, look really good and not get too hot. I can't even begin to tell you how impressed I am at the results of this deck makeover. This deck was so weathered and covered in grime that I didn't really know if it was going to be salvageable, but after power washing and adding the stain, it looks absolutely amazing. And to give this deck its final touches, I went over to Lowe's and found some really nice deals on a brand new grill, some furniture, a shade screen, and some decorations. And the deck went from an ugly eyesore that we didn't really spend time on to a beautiful deck that not only is really inviting and nice to spend time on, but it also really increases the value of the house. And listen everyone, this type of home improvement project is not my favorite thing in the world to do, but with the use of that power washer and the sprayer, it made it a piece of cake, and I'm so glad that I finally got that done, and now me and my family can really enjoy the backyard. Hope you try this project and refresh your deck. We'll see you on the next project. Thanks everyone.